people? It is your boy Kevin Yee, the Farm D. Well, another day in corn stream, I guess. And there's rumors that people in California might be locked down until June. So fun stuff if that happens. Who knows? There's a lot of rumors going around, so you can never discount anything. I personally have been trying to look for weights to do some working out, good old working out, but they're all sold out everywhere, so I can't even find 25 pounds unless I want to stack a bunch of 2.5 pounds, but not about that life. I do have bands and stuff, but today is not about that today. Today I thought would be an interesting topic because I was just really thinking about. I was thinking about two things, right? One, I was gonna show my daily habit tracker that I was like how I've been getting more done within quarantine, but I don't think like too many people want to see that. Maybe if people do, maybe I'll do it next time. Um, but but I was watching Philip DeFranco just now, and a lot of people are actually going on strike at the moment. So if you're companies like Amazon, Instacart, people are complaining and just trying to walk out at this point because they don't feel like they're being well taken care of. So what I wanted to do was actually kind of look at both sides of the arguments. One thing that I've always been is pretty open minded toward both sides of the arguments, right? So obviously on Reddit we got Kit and Kelly, we got Brad, yes, drive-through only plus motorsport. Put that thing in sport. Oh my god, so funny. Just walk from the living room to kitchen hella fast, burn extra calories. I got a walk-in treadmill, by the way. By the way, if you guys are just tuning in, make sure to smash that like button. Would appreciate it, y'all. But let's dive into it, guys. So let's see. Let's make this a little bigger. Let's make sure that my pH doesn't pop up during the stream. Should be. Hold on for a second. Okay, perfect. Great. So here we have. I urge all pharmacists to band together, demand your stores to be curbside or drive-through. This post is actually really pending. It's or trending right now. 314 in the last 18 hours, which is really quick, especially in our pharmacy. And one of the things that this person is promoting is once everyone in the U.S. starts getting their stimulus checks, we'll see a dramatic rise in cases. Right now, a lot of people don't have a lot of money to burn, so they're at home. The first 2 weeks, the checks will come in will probably be the worst. I'm not sure if I agree with that. I mean, that's a huge assumption right there, right? But they were saying, hey, start being proactive and bringing up this to your managers. And I was looking at the comments below, and it was actually really interesting. Um, this person had a really good point. Hey, it sounds good in theory, but corporate knows what pharmacy teams are going through. They have to be pretty much blind to not know what's happening at this point, right? They're well aware that curbside and drive-through are the best way to manage right now. They're perfectly fine with infected patients tracking through the store, looking for items, and have been out of stock for weeks as long as it leads them to purchasing other things while they're in there. Completely agree with everything that you say in here. People won't stay put and will want to spend that money ASAP. I wish there was the easy solution to this, but I don't see it happening. So just really interesting. Um, there and here we have more talk about people like essentially walking out. This guy posted this article about people walking out because they just don't feel protected and all that as well, which is very reasonable. Like if it's your life, no one should have to decide between those two things, right? And there's one more comment I want to highlight. Right, this guy I think speaks the truth. um I can't stress this enough. Your corporate office does not give a fuck. Read that again. It's not proactive at this point. You should have requested this weeks ago. The vast majority of drug store chains, CVS, Walgreens, Rite Aid, will never close the inside of a store because sales are actually booming. We're actually one of the few businesses making an absolute killing right now. Even though you're sold out and everything, the people are looking for thermometers, hand sanitizers, fucking aloe, and toilet paper. This guy isn't the most happiest, but he brings up a good point. Many of us have asked for our DMs who get the final say about switching to curbside slash delivery only, and been flat out denied. Myself and my colleagues have been told that the reason is literally because we need drive traffic through stores to increase business revenue. Go ahead and corporate ask. Yeah, basically they're just punting it up and they're just saying that these DMs don't really care. But on so it brings up a pretty good point, man. A lot of these big chains, they just want to focus on profit and all that. I can't imagine how many people are just looking for things. Um Brad says the frontline medical employees have the right to complain about their safety, but everyone sitting at home bored needs to stop complaining. We live in a first world country and we are blessed. Gratitude. Shrika says they should be drive-through. Well, and here's the interesting part for the other side of the argument too, which, and I do have my opinion too, but I'm just trying to stay neutral right now, while I'm presenting this, right. It's where why this person, sad macho, said why I don't want why I don't want to be drive-through only. In short, hold on, sip of green tea. Hold on for a second. In short, it'll screw up patients with no vehicle. It's dangerous to ask them to stay outside. Lines would be long. My drive through takes 2 minutes per carrier trip. In my town, it's already getting hot. I can't ask a sick or elderly patient to wait 45 minutes in a standing path of a vehicle where they could get run over, standing in exhaust, or in the heat. Instead of pushing drive-through only, we should making things safer inside. Put up social distancing markers, barriers, do consultation by phone, ask people who can use the drive-through, but stay open who can't. Um, and then we have other people saying, "Hey, I think it'd be a combination of drive-through and curbside pickup for the best reducing transmission and keeping others safe." Right. Another suggestion: stop stocking shelves for non-essential items such as makeup. Um, I agree with this, but the less I actually have less mutual surface contact when people come in the store as they're forced to swipe their own credit card. Until people on my counter cough on my counter or in my face, I don't see an issue with it. I never, yeah. So mixed bag here, guys. And so um I'm kind of curious about your opinions, guys. If you like, which side that you guys fall on. Let's see. Like we have roofs, plumbing, running water, food, television, and internet. Third world countries have real problems. The people inside their house complaining are soft as fuck. Well, I agree with that, man. America, like, there's a lot of people who love complaining as well, right? So, anyways, my personal opinion is, a lot. I know. Well, this is what I think the solution is based off of my knowledge so far. I know CVS was doing something like with Uber Eats a while ago or something like that. They had some sort of delivery, like some sort of delivery service. If we can find some way where a lot of these pharmacy chains can partner up with like delivery services, that'd be great. Now, the legality behind consultation and whatnot, that's where I see logistics and what happens if somebody gets their wrong med and all that. That's the tough part, right? Because I think, well, rather than having them come to us where there's more people, it's probably a smarter idea for delivery people to do a drop over there. Now, there comes a few logistical problems where it's like collecting credit card, but we used to do it at my old pharmacy all the time. We used to have get people's cards, and we used to charge them and then drop them off. And I forgot how we got the signature. We got a signature because in the state of California. But I mean, in times of these type of things, I'm pretty sure that the board of pharmacy could make an exception, especially during crisis times and all that. And really, there should be an incentive to. I think this is going to really push people to go toward mail order. Honestly, it's probably a smarter idea to move to something like mail order and to do something like 90-day supplies, just to reduce the burden on the pharmacies as well. So that's what I'm thinking. If if CVS could get a contract with Uber or something like that, and they were in talks, maybe this is a good time to implement it. But obviously, it's kind of hard. Like I kind of see it from the corporate side of point of view. It's like you don't want to launch a system, right? That is because I think we last checked, like when we last checked, CVS stores, I think it was close to pharmacies. It was close to 10,000 stores, something like that. I think. Yeah, I think it was 10,000 stores. I was trying to look it up, but I can't find it. It was close to 10,000 stores online. And so if you make one change like that, there's a lot of things that could go really, really wrong in the implementation, doing that as well. But there should be some sort of I think having some sort of delivery service would be a lot smarter, or doing more curbside pickup or something like that. Um, but delivery, I would say delivery service would probably be the most optimal type of thing as well, right? But here's the thing: is there enough margin? And this comes back to insurance companies, because here's the thing: a lot of people don't know that actually a lot of pharmacies are losing money by dispensing prescriptions. Actually, right? Not every single prescription is profitable because of these freaking sneaky ass DIR fees. And the margin has dropped. The profit margins for pharmacy has dropped a lot. So I'll give you an example. In 2010, or 2000, I think 2010, it's the I think the national NCPA. What does that stand for anymore? I can't remember. It's been so long. NCPA, National Community Pharmacy Association. It was either 2010 or 2013 where they said the average profit margin was like 26% or something like that for per across all prescriptions, roughly. Obviously prescriptions are gonna vary, right? But let's give a blanket statement like that. And it's been dropping almost like a percent, 1 to 1.5% each and every single year, especially with these clawbacks and DRR fees and stuff like that. So either way, somebody has is gonna pay for it at the end of the day, right? And so it really comes down to money at the end of the day. It's quite a sad thing. Um, so I don't know. It's gonna be very. That's like that's what I if CVS was considering doing something like that, I think that would be a huge competitive advantage. And I think a lot of if you're an independent pharmacy right now, man, it's probably. I mean, they obviously have a lot more flexibility to do delivery, and a lot of them already do delivery services. They probably just need to hire more temp people and stuff like that, and make sure that you know um, they're trained and all that. But it's just really interesting. Um, let's see. Brad asks, "Do you think this will accelerate companies moving toward remote work after quarantine?" Absolutely. I I'm a strong believer in remote work. Whether it's starting your own business, which I believe everybody should, like, doesn't even have to be a full-time business, but starting something like maybe once a week and just servicing clients is so important. I think that's the best way to build financial confidence, because you're never reliant on uh one employer or anything like that. I have multiple streams of revenue too. Maybe I'll do a video on that too. That I'm always building. But there's that. And then I think this will, like, because you know people are always saying, "Oh yeah, you should come do remote work. You should do remote work." Well, until people are bleeding money from the standstill, people don't really, the companies won't really take it seriously enough until they see it in their bottom line. And I think this has done enough damage where people are gonna think about going more remote. It makes more sense, right? Of course, there's always that argument, which I think is a lame ass argument in particular, like, oh, your employees won't be as productive, right? But honestly, you do you evaluate them, personal improvement plan if they suck, and then you fire them if they're not up to performance. So that's I mean, you're at the end of the day, you should be doing your job no matter what, right? Whether you have your own business, at the end of the day, you have to you either serve a when you're working at a job, you serve two people. You serve the customer that you're interacting with if you have a customer facing job, and you serve your boss, right? Those are two people that you serve. With a business, typically it might be the same, is very similar. You have your client, and then you have your it's either your client, or if you have some sort of client or customer facing type of thing as well, then that's your second customer, I guess. Two people that you serve, right? So yeah. How can we ensure that we don't the deliverer doesn't use the pills? Um, there's no certainty. I mean, that's just hiring good people. And it's kind of like that's the problem, is like when we're rushing and we're trying to figure everything out, when we're scrambling, we can't make the best decisions. So you really have to, trust. And that's what I mean, logistics. But like for delivery, we never had problems with like stolen pills or anything like that. Typically they're sealed and stuff, so the delivery driver doesn't even know what the people get, you know. So that's what we did. Hendrik says, like last time, just saying hi, appreciate your work, man. Really, thanks, man, for stopping by. Guys, I'm kind of curious for y'all. Do you have any good solutions for this? Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and leave your comments below too. I would love to kind of hear more your comments as well, right? Because I'm not the leading expert on this, even though I did community pharmacy for a long time. But yeah, what do you think? Do you think about what's moral, right, when you invest into things? I do. Well, here's the thing. I get rid of the whole thing with morality by doing S&P 500, because you're investing in so many companies, right? But individual stocks, we all have our different niches and stuff, and that's the great thing. You can always choose, right? Just want to comment how cool the YouTube technology has improved, since I'm seeing automatic uh closed captions on what you're saying during this whole live stream, are running without delay. That's awesome, man. Well, it goes to show you, like, they pick up certain words really, really quick. They know what you're saying, and if they don't like what you're saying, like you say, the dreaded Lalona virus. I think that's what that's what Joe called it. Um, they can demonetize you. So, but at the end of the day, I don't really care about demonetization and all that sort of stuff, man. Like, these streams, I think aren't even monetized because YouTube's been screwing up. They used to automatically monetize, but I have to request every single time, so it doesn't really matter. While I'm streaming, I usually monetize it after. So yeah, it's pretty cool, man. Like, technology's really gone a long way. By the way, I got about 9 more minutes, so yeah. I agree. Everyone should start a business. At the very least, they should be very valuable, rare employee that can walk away from any company. Yeah, builds character. It builds financial independence, right? I think we've gotten way too dependent on I think we've gotten way too dependent on employers, and that's why you're seeing like a lot of these practices, because people can't walk away. They don't have the ability to walk away, right? It's harder to start a business, but it's not impossible if you have kids and stuff. You hear stories of people doing it all the time, right? And keep in mind, like, you don't necessarily need money or startup capital to start a business. You definitely don't, right? There's ways to start it with very, very, very little money, if no money at all, right? You can do it in a very low budget way, and I always advocate start a service based business, right? That should be the first thing that anybody starts. That's how I started making more of my money, right? Yes, I made, I think my first dollar. I think my first service based, well, what I call like real online money is probably like through a copywriting gig through JK. That was the first time I ever got paid online, and then maybe a YouTube check. Right, that was my first. Those were my first payments, but those are so slow. Right, YouTube was not profitable for me for a long, 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 long time, dude, and that was built over time. And it's not, people want to get rich off YouTube. That's, YouTube is a great marketing platform, but, or great messaging platform, but it's not a good monetization platform, to be honest with you, unless you're selling your own stuff and all that. That's why you see people with Teespring and all that. Maybe I'll break down one of these online businesses online and show you the different ways that a lot of these big YouTubers monetize too. I think that'll be an interesting video as well. So there's that. Brad says lol, Bob Dole says nice. YouTube is using monetization as a way to force people to be politically correct. Fuck that. I agree. I mean, there's certain topics that I mean, here's the truth, man. Sort of, they do censor, right? To a point. Sure, you can say whatever you want, but people have, like, I know personal friends who have been throttled by views and all that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that if you're just completely transparent about it, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Like, if you're open, like, hey, if we don't like your opinion, we're going to throttle your views. We're not going to pay you. Totally cool. But I think the major problem with things like platforms like um, social media platforms, especially if they're monetized, is being sneaky about it, man. Like, people, lack of transparency. People don't know what's going on as well. So that's where the disconnect is, right? Um, Omi Ziozi, do you need a banner? I could probably create another banner. Actually, fun fact about my banner, I wasn't even the one that created it. It was my friend. So pretty interesting stuff, man. Let's see. Let's go back into kind of like the arguments before. Um, this is a really interesting argument or point. Is really good points, and this was in the I don't want to be drive through only. Where is it? Really good points. I'm even becoming more aware and empathetic to people without homes and vehicles. There will be starvation, illness, and lack of proper hygiene if we can't come up with good solutions. They're talking about releasing prisoners, so their punishment won't turn into a death sentence, but they need a place to go. This is a huge logistical problem that requires smarts and planning far beyond what we considered before. I don't know what the best solution, except for now, is to give us workers decent PPE so we won't be vulnerable, but and therefore more willing to be helpful. The drive-through is a stressful place anyway, and the person stuck working there is overburdened with disproportional amount of work. Not to mention running around getting the wrong color or size or whatever Karen wants. The other employees are just meandering around, wiping down services. I like Target's way of curbside pickup. Is that so hard to implement? Yeah. So really, again, really interesting stuff, man. Like, a lot of people are just doing a lot of more curbside pickup, which is great. I actually used it for, have I used a curbside pickup service? No, I have not used one. I ordered online and at at Home Depot, because I was doing Tim Ferriss's uh kettlebell, not kettlebell, what's that called, his T bar kettlebell type of thing, but I can't find any weights anywhere. So honestly, I just might actually end up returning everything, just because, like, I can't find weights and it kind of defeats the purpose. So I just gotta use the bands and shit. So there's that. Um, let's see. HV says, few confirmed COVID cases at my hospital, but management doesn't let us work from home. Decentral RPH here. They say there's no way to monitor work productivity. Lame. That's bullshit. You definitely can. It's just that it's management's responsibility to really assess, like, hey, we want to make sure that you guys are productive. These are metrics and results that we're looking for to assess productivity. That's on management. That's not on you guys, right? Lame liability, if they really let big accounts talk them about sensitive issues, they can be traced back to YouTube to be spreading unverified information or info that can change on a dime. I do wish YouTube would be at least fully honest and transparent with creators about the censorship. Shadow banning is the weakest thing in the world. Laugh my ass off. Yeah, it's lame because I have a lot of friends that were shadow banned and stuff like that. I don't think I've ever been shadow banned, but I wouldn't be surprised, because I would say, like, on the spectrum, I am not, like, I'm probably more centrist. Like, I hold a lot of, like, Joe Logan's Joe Hogan's views and stuff like that. That's kind of like where I fall. I grew up in a very blue state, man. Like, everybody was a Democrat around me, and then started reading a lot of powerlifting forums, and I started seeing the conservative side as well for a lot of things. And I think it's important to not think, like, on I think it's important to think gray, right? There's this really great book called called Super Thinking, and it talks about thinking gray and not really just kind of thinking about like listening to both sides, just like what we're doing right now. Because uh yeah, it's easy to say like that we can implement it, but I try to put myself in, and I try to put myself in logistical, like as a DM or as a pharmacy owner. If I had to switch, what are some of the boundaries, right? Yes, we can keep on saying, hey, we want this, but how do we exactly execute it, right? So it's just interesting. I think like delivery and mail order are probably the best system. That's our best bet, right? For a lot of these maintenance medications, a lot of these older patients might not like the idea of getting delivery, but you know what? They might not have a choice, to be honest with you, right? And they can always call the pharmacy or find some sort of way to do a consult or whatnot as well. It, there's really no way. There's really like I'm pretty sure that any. Then we get into privacy issues. See, there's just it opens up a can of worms, man. It really does. You could easily have like set up a Zoom call with a link and stuff like that, and hop on a phone with the pharmacist and admit one person at a time, really talk them through their medications and stuff. So it's like pharmacy on demand. There's a lot of these technologies out. It's not the fact that we can't do it, but there's so much freaking tape around this that we got to consider, because there's HIPAA, there's a lot of different things, right? And some of these ideas are a little bit outdated as well. So it doesn't allow technology to really aid us within this current time as well. So good vibes says, what up, Kev? Hope you're doing well. Hopefully, Brad says, hopefully, the government and pharmacy industry will use this as a learning process. This can be a blessing in disguise if we learn from it. It's going to bring up a lot more awareness and the issues within living in the modern times and remote work. I guarantee a lot more places are going to consider remote work because it just crippled all these businesses. We have the technology to support it. Let's do it, man. So those are kind of my thoughts, man. Thank you guys for sending in good vibes over here, man. Really appreciate it. I gotta actually bounce. I got some closing calls all today, but I wanted to specifically focus on that topic: drive-through or drive-through slash curbside pickup only. Which side do you fall on? Let me know in the comments. Otherwise, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to y'all later. Peace, mother people.